they have really good Roche fighting in that area, and Secret not nearly as much.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's fair, and not just the fighting, also killing Roche himself, right?
Yeah,
Secret's
true.
lineup does a pretty poor job at killing Roche. They don't have meaningful physical damage except Dawn, who is rushing a Deso, which will help, but it's going to be a while before Secret likely do that unless they win a big team fight beforehand, because LGD can relatively easily go and contest the area.
Oh, yeah. Nothing to say. He gets stunned right out of the gates. They don't even need the Solar Guarding. There's Nisha, nets the kill with the Split Earth. 4K lead for Secret now.
They are absolutely destroying.
Starting to run away with it, as you see Puppy's ult come out after the Frostbite, and Zayats is here with another Impale Starbreaker to finish off Jin Q.
You were late on the grave there from Fly. Kind of uncommon that he doesn't get that off in time. Yeah, Secret are crushing them right now. Just move after move. That's something that this Radiant lineup struggles with. If Pango is not having a good game, there are ways of initiation. What do you have? You have the Tusk, who can maybe set it up. He just reached level 6. The supports of LGD have been massively under-leveled this game. You're finding both of them finding their 6s at like 13 minutes. Compare that to Secrets, right? Zayat is now level 8, Puppy's level 7 and a bit, so way ahead from these early successful moves. And I think it's just too integral for LGD's lineup that Jin Q was able to do some of these rotations correctly, and it just hasn't been the case. He's 1 and 5, hasn't really connected much, hasn't had the best pairings, so could foresee Secret just keep building on this lead as they will be getting more and more map control. And again, you got to pick your fights very wisely as LGD in this game. It's the amount of counter initiation makes it very, very difficult to really pick your. It's kind of like pick your poison, right? You're not going to get a free fight at any point. I think it's.
Yep, definitely not at this
How long
pace.
do you need to farm? It's tricky.
Well, nothing to say. Still working on his Diffusal Blade, and you talked about Chrysalis. Just about to finish his Deso, just needs the last component with the Blightstone. And Nisha, how fast? Oh, he already has Bloodstone. Okay, that was pretty fast.
Yep.
All right, very good.
Very, very farmed. And he's obviously this nice aggressive ward that Secret have on the inside the enemy jungle is going to allow Nisha to play very aggressively down here. It's pretty standard for Dire to do this when they do get the bottom tier 1 tower, is to start occupying this area. And Leshrac is just such an amazing hero for this. He's a difficult kill. He has the counter initiations. He has the counter initiations that we've talked about, and he can almost solo this tower in 2 rounds of Edict. So he is going to force rotation from Psg.Lgd to come down here, and they really don't want to play on the defense, right? Like, LGD's lineup is kind of crafted to hit a timing right now and go and force your towers. So if you're the one setting the agenda, you're already really happy.
Looking to tank the gank. Oh, the Global Silence is giving him some cover, and the Solar Guardian coming in as well. Jin Q is just punished right off the bat. Beautiful play from Secret as they just shut that smoke gank down immediately. And Zayat's looking for more.
Oh, this could be big. They don't have
a Solar Guardian though, yeah.
Dropped everything. Still trying.
Gets off the Vendetta first. Actually gets the Impale as well. Chrysalis is here with the huge Starbreaker, and down goes Ame. And Secret starting to really run away with this.
You're going to have a word with Resolution after this game. This is getting out of hand.
I'm going to have to give him some more money, I think. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah. Speaking of Resolution, he has the Falcon Blade into Force Staff. We're going to see a Starbreaker again come out. Faith Beyond caught out. His own side here. Zayat stuck inside the Ice Shards. Nothing to say. He's going to be blocked off by said Ice Shards. And the Force Staff that we just talked about from Resolution coming into play already. 7K lead for Secret. Things are looking very good for them. And again, I mean, if you have a big enough lead, then taking Roche isn't that hard, considering like you just get a pick off or 2 and then you can just take it. But I feel like that is the best opportunity for LG to get back into this game.
Yeah, I think ideally what they want to do is once Global Silence and the Dawn ult have come out, you want to smoke and make your own move, right? Because that's one moment in time where you can initiate something without the fear of just getting immediately globally countered. But they're not managing to do that right now. They have about 30 seconds to go if they did want to make a rotation, but Secret are very firmly planted in the bottom half of the map while LGD are in the top, so they're not going to find anything, and that just means that come minute 18, Secret are just ready to rock and roll again, and it's hard to see the path for LGD to initiate fights. So maybe you just need to, again, slow things down, farm it up. But what's the exact timing you're playing for? So your Lone Druid has Maelstrom and he's going towards the Mjolnir. Your Enigma is not going BKB because he's going to be scared about Global the whole game, and maybe he will just never get to use Black Hole, more or less. So he's going for the Greaves. All right, they're going to try to turn this in. to Roche. I kind of like this. I think maybe if they did this a little bit earlier, this would have been a higher impact play, because actually the Global and the Donald are now online again, so might have missed the timing if Secret find this opportunity to get in there with Zayats.
Yeah, Roche
Thinking
going
about
down slowly. The Wraith packed inside as Nisha seems to have a decent idea that this is happening. He's just going to walk right in with the Split Art. Gets off the Pulse Nova and the Bloodstone ahead of him. The Solar Guardian on the outskirts as Zayats gets stunned, but nothing to say. Already gets off his Rolling Thunder, but a huge Starbreaker. Chrysalis deletes Faith Beyond. Jin-Q starting to get quite low as Puppy's the first to fall for Secret, so it's a 1-for-1. He's going to buy back into the game, though. Double kill from Chrysalis coming out as well. And Nisha pretty much out of mana, but it's just enough to take out Ame. And now Y and company from LGD have to get the hell out of here, as Secret will likely get the Roche.
Yeah, maybe Secret kind of let them do that.
Thanks for the damage.
Do the hard work for us. You know, we can't really kill Roche ourselves that quickly, so if you guys would please get him to a quarter health, we'll just show up with our spells and clean you out. They didn't even use Global. Like, Rezo actually doesn't have the mana for it right now. It was not necessary in that fight. They had a Donald, which was okay to connect on the side. We're going to see the replay here, so I love the way Secret approached this fight by sending in Leshrac first. He knows he has so much defensive cover plus the Bloodstone that he's not worried. And they find this connection on the left-hand side. This pretty much ends the fight. They kill off the Enigma with the Nyx as well as the Dawnbreaker ult. Connect that. And Ame, sure, you find the Crystal Maiden in the middle of that fight, but you're in the middle of the fight against Lesh, and you're not getting out of there afterwards. So easy cleanup for Secret. And man, going into the series today, I was not expecting that any game would be this one-sided as this is looking right now. Are LGD adopting some sort of new strategy? You know, start out slow in groups, then you pick up some steam, you go into the playoffs, you start off slow in game number 1, you pick up your steam. That's maybe the question, because this one is it's not looking healthy right now.
So if I'm not mistaken, at the Arlington Major, I was casting a game, Psg.Lgd were down by like 20 plus K. Like it was a top hat shellacking level. And they brought it back, so this is the one team I would not be comfortable with a lead, no matter how much. As we see mass TPs now from Psg.Lgd, Global Science to give him some cover. Nisha really wants to finish off the Dads, but not going to be able to do so. Now completely out of mana, but remember, does have the Aegis still intact. Might have to use it here, but Solar Guardian is healing up to a decent amount. Chrysalis not able to connect on any stuns, though. As Secret looking to potentially reset, but no kills come out from Psg.Lgd. See the freezing field in the meantime, yeah. Is that bear number 1 or is that 2?
I think that is bear number 2. Yeah.
Oh,
50-second cooldown now for Ame. Yeah, if somebody has experience killing creeps with freezing field, it is Puppy. So feels really good about that. That's a very big creep there. A so-called creep hero, if you will. It's very. If you're new to Dota, Lone Druid's bear is complicated. It's
yeah. That's true.
That's its Facebook status. It's complicated. All right. Nice Carapace.
Oh, beautiful setup. Split Earth to follow, and the Impale again. Nothing to say is dead.
And that's
Secret, man.
You got to be so careful about this as Pango. You kind of need to weigh the pros and cons of using Swashbuckle like this, because you could obviously Swashbuckle toward your own base with the damage, right? But he wanted to get a little bit of value poke out of it. Gets Carapace and gets killed. So you got to second guess yourself a lot of the time with your Pango instincts when you are playing against this hero and it's missing, because you never know when you're going to connect on that Carapace and you're just getting killed off by that.
Just kill bear, just kill bear. I kill all.
It's okay, they're all dead. I can kiss them.
Yeah, I'm trying to go in there.
Let's check Roche, check Roche.
Yeah, let's go Roche. I might do this one.
Down these Arcans. They're going to bottom to our outpost. We can
smoke into them.
I can smoke Mango. We don't have actually.
Yeah, I will swap.
Not global, but we can fight easy.
Let's try these 15 seconds though.
Oh yeah, the classic Rezo, no global, we can fight easy. Well, he didn't have mana.
Oh, Impale set up onto Faith Beyond with the Solar Guardian, but a nice Tusk Snowball mitigates a lot of it as Crystal's pops the BKB a little bit prematurely. Starbreak doesn't really connect very well, but they still have the damage, it looks like, to take out Faith Beyond. And Jin-Q is next on the list. So despite the Secret initiation not going as planned, I mean, with this kind of a lead, it doesn't really matter sometimes.
It's just such a strong position for their lineup to play on this high ground, right? And you're seeing again Faith Beyond. He's just holding Black Hole. He can't use it. So the impact of this hero very, very minimal so far in this game, considering what we've seen from Enigma earlier in the tournament. Secret seems to have a very good understanding of how to solve it. And this looks like Y will also finding a quick way back to base. Has Grave.
Yeah.
Okay. He kind of juked them by running in a line.
Sometimes it's the hardest path to follow. Okay.
That is really impressive that he found a way out of that.
On the other side of the map, though, Jin Q gets off the initiation. Already has his shard as Zayats gets off the impale, as Nisha has to walk his way around, but looks like Jin Q is likely to fall. He's getting healed up, though. And still the Aegis in line for Nisha, so he is not scared. Eventually, Jin Q goes down, and there's the stun follow-up. And Nisha, they're looking for the bear. That's all the damage that Ame has. I mean, to get Lightning Storm down, he's just going to continue on now. They're looking for a full team wipe potentially. Global Silence is there. Nisha just hedging his bets. GG is called. And Secret completely stomped game number 1. Not what we were expecting, but Secret off to an amazing start.
Yeah, that was not even remotely close. Just absolutely crushed them, start to finish. The lanes went well. I think the double counter to the Enigma really caused a lot of problems for LGD. I mean, it's easy to say, right? Because he never cast Black Hole. It's pretty rare that you see a game with Enigma not using ulti a single time.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it from his perspective. He's playing into some super hard counters. They let the Silencer through to second phase. Secret more than happy to pick that up and just put on a clinic in this game. Everything went exceptionally well. Nisha got the fast Bloodstone like you talked about. He gets the Aegis and they just get the job done. Like, he runs in, what's killing him? They have no healing reduction. He puts on the Bloodstone, goes to town, hits a lot of units with Pulse No and just kills out of everything.
LGD kind of, I mean, I was going to say on the ropes. Technically on the ropes would be lower bracket. They obviously would still have another life if they were able to, if they were going to lose a second game in this series. But, I mean, this was beyond any of our understanding, I feel like, or our predictions, especially yours. Because you always pick LGD to win, and they always lose somehow.
That is just not true.
I mean,
they win a lot of the time, but
I mean,
they do lose sometimes.
Technically, you're right, actually.
Yeah,
that is,
it is important to be technically correct, as we both know.
That is correct. But I mean, going into game 2, what do you think? What does LGD need to do? Was this a draft thing? Was this a laning stage thing?
I think part of it was definitely the draft. I think they had some problems with how the lanes went, so I think that's where you want to start, and then go from there, build yourself a game so that you can be competitive in the mid game.
All right, well, with that, let's see what the panel has to say, and we'll see if Jenkins has gotten a haircut in the last 10 minutes.
He did not get a haircut in the last 10 minutes. And to be honest, didn't have time for it. We were watching Dota. Come on, we want to listen to your beautiful voices the whole time, not miss a single second. And that was tough to do because blink and you miss it. This game was very fast here, joined by Effie, Lacoste, and of course Jenkins, indeed, still with his long hair. Jenkins, breaking this game down, it went a little bit different than what you were expecting.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I will say I'm very surprised that Suns fan was the one casting that. He didn't say what level of shellacking that was, because that was a very high tier shellacking. Obviously, with him being the leader of the council, it's I can't say it was definitely Gaben level shellacking. And LGD, nonetheless, like, that's insane. Nobody expected this. Nobody. Not a game that is that decisive.
I'm still kind of shocked. That went completely the opposite of what I thought would happen. We were completely wrong. The Lone Druid looked like it did nothing. The Silencer actually had a great time. The Dazzle felt countered also by the Silencer, not just the Enigma. And Enigma never really found his entry point into the game. I just want to kind of take it back to that Nisha mid lane dominance, though. He completely bullied out Nothing to Say his Pangolier and made it so that the access into the game through the tempo of the Pango could never actually happen because there was just so much pressure coming out of the Slush Rack. And of course, the early Dawnbreaker rotations by Crystalist, who was getting so many kills. The first Tusk rotation mid, against Slush went completely bad because Dawn was already level 6, and they just, it felt like Secret had their number every step of that game.
I know it's a meme, this Nisha is such a consistent player thing, but I do feel like he's 7-0-6, he's just, it's like he's consistent, but he's consistently diving towers and consistently getting away at 10% HP. The guy's a monster.
He knows that he has the back of his team with either like Crystallis backing him up, the Global Silence, Nyx Assassin with the Carapace. I mean, we thought this game's gonna go in a different way, but yeah, they completely shut down Enigma. One of the few times where you see like Fate Beyond being completely mitigated. Like he couldn't do anything. I don't think we've seen a single black hole. Sometimes we don't see a black hole where there's like the threat of the black hole is stronger than he's actually using the black hole. Yeah. But this time around, playing against the Silencer as well, very difficult game. Like, Nothing to Say, I feel like he needed to be that guy that is gonna step up for his team in this one, because like, sure, Dazzle is a position 5, doesn't move around the map that easily, but as you said, Jenkins, he got completely dominated by Nisha.
Based on that performance, I don't think LGD can go for these Pangos versus Leshracs, right? They have to go for some hero that can self-sustain and just not get kicked out of a lane if they're going to win the game. At least if they're going to play something like a Lone Druid from the safe lane. So there's going to be a lot of revision, but I still have faith that we're going to have a good series here today, and it's not going to be a 2-0.
Well, it's going to be a very important mid-series moment for them to get the speed that they need to force out that third game. And while we are taking that moment, we're also going to have a moment with Slacks and Casey.
Back to you.
While we are taking that moment, we're also going to have a moment with Slacks and Casey.
Hello, thank you so much, Shevers. Casey, one of the greatest things about Dota, about the International, is one of my favorite things in general. It is content, and it is the short film contest. We have a very special opportunity here to show you some of the finalists. Now, you watch these, right, Casey? You enjoy all the different short films out there, all the different Dota content, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 of the best ones coming up here. We have one that was hand-drawn in anime style. We have a live-action one, and we have one made with some source filmmaker and other stuff. So the Dota community gets so creative with these things. I'm sorry I'm monologuing, but we got a chance. So go ahead, Casey, if you can, please take a break from that LGD game, wash your face a little bit, take a breather, and get ready to watch some short films. Let's take a look.
think he's gone.
Oh, they're all so good.
That was insane. That was insane.
That's mad. I mean, you said how everybody's so talented. We saw the first one. This one's gonna win. We saw the second one. Oh, wait a second.
Wow. And the third one, we need live action Dota movie.
I didn't even know you could submit live action Dota short films. That's so cool. How much did it cost to make, do you think? That looked expensive. Like a special
Those were all
effects and,
dark.
like-
I liked how dark all of those were. That was good.
Oh, that's. I mean, they were dark, but they were good. I mean, Dota is a fairly dark game.
It is.
If you think about it, so it's very fitting. Is there any that you have favorite of those three? Or?
I'm gonna go with the second.
I think number two for me.
Yeah.
Number two was good.
For me, the third one, because I haven't seen someone submit a live action.
Are we gonna expect an Effie live action short film next year?
I have no talent. It's okay.
How about you, Jenkins?
I'll be the one that says that's not true.
Thanks, Jenkins.
Nobody would.
I appreciate you.
You guys just said nothing. I was like, oh, surely Shiva's gonna. That's not true.
Let that hang out.
I got
How do I
got
tell her that I agree?
No.
She said it.
Speaking of talent, there's a lot of it on the main stage of the playoffs here for the International Team Secret. One game up against Psg.Lgd in this upper bracket match. And they did it very fast, very convincingly. We know that Psg.Lgd is a very veteran team. They also know how to come back from a loss. Where do you start when you have those 10 minutes between game end and game start? Where do you start by saying, okay, here's where we went wrong, when a game went like that across?
I mean, Psg.Lgd, most of the time they're on the winning side. I mean, if you look at this score, GNQ from the previous game, 1-9-0. That's something that does not happen. But this is also a team that can shake it off, completely go with a different draft, go change the bans as well, leave the heroes in the pool. A team that can adapt so quickly, and like they're a team that has variety of the heroes that they play. If you check like their Dota battle stats, whatever, it just shows like Ame playing like 10, 12, 13 different heroes, and it like you know that they can play whatever it's needed at the time.
We saw it in True Sight how they shake things off. There's a lot of Zhao 8 accepting the blame on himself, being like, hey guys, like I screwed this thing up in the draft, like we'll just go in and do this next time.
Yeah.
Also, you know, Jinq, and we saw during True Sight, he was like, I feel like I can't do anything on the IO. Like they make these calls where it's like, this was a core problem in this series, in this game. We don't know if this is a core problem with the team, but we're not ready to do it like this again. Let's change this one thing and go into the next game. I really do truly believe in their ability to reset. And I think everybody does, given True Sight, of course.
Yeah, and I really do think that that game in particular can be traced back a little bit to that mid lane matchup, but also just giving away the silencer versus the Enigma that you managed to snatch in the first phase. I also do think that the Chen and Enchantress first phase bans were a bit overkill, right? You can absolutely ban out that Chen because it is a contested hero between both of these teams, but the Chen and the Enchantress is kind of giving a little bit too much respect to a playstyle that is not overpowered right now.
That's very true. And it's probably where we're going to see something being changed up, because a couple of different bans here and there will shake things up completely. Of course, also pick order will be changed slightly. So maybe, you know, the Enigma was picked up. Yes, it was not that successful, and we were expecting the silencer to be banned before that already. But perhaps this time around, we'll just not let us get through altogether. Or maybe in the hands of Team Secret, in which case I think they will want to ban out the silencer as well. I think there's a lot of people here wanting to get
That's the classic.
Game
That's
3. It's been a relatively rapid day so far on the main stage. But let's see if Psg.Lgd can set themselves up for success here in Game 2 of this series.
Psg.Lgd versus Team Secret. Game 2.
So draft is upon us, and that means we are going to talk more about the heroes that will be picked or banned in the next coming 10 minutes, because that's where a coach will go to look at, okay, if Zawade says, it's my fault, I messed up, it's because of the draft, and that's easily fixed. Although I do need to take us a little bit back to after the draft was done, where my panel, you guys thought Psg.Lgd won the draft.
We really did, and it went absolutely the opposite of what we thought. But also, I think it's doing a disservice to Secret to credit that win to only the draft. I think they played really well. They were able to back each other up. I think Crystal has also absolutely stepped up that game, not just Nisha. And it's really interesting how Secret can play a style where they also have the backup carry in Resolution, right?
Yeah.
The only lane that went badly for Secret last game was the Silencer lane. And because they were able to just play as a unit of 4 post minute 8 or something like that, Silencer was just sitting in that bottom lane farming away. And it's just really interesting that this team, even though they're such a new roster, are so flexible in how they can play around each other.
Yeah, being able to flex the Silencer to off lane means that they can very comfortably first phase it and just flex it and pick other supports if those supports seem to be good in the draft. And yeah, it's strong. It's strong.
The question is, are they willing to give away Marcy to Team Secret? Because last time they did ban Chen and Enchantress. FEU said it was a bit of an overkill. I mean, also thinking about it, why one of the better Enchantress players out there? So I think Marcy just could make a lot more things difficult for Psg.Lgd if they leave Marcy in the pool.
One thing with Resolution as an offlaner is that he can be thrown into like bad lanes, and I feel like he's pretty good at identifying that all he needs to do is like not feed. And then the rest of Secret does well enough that he can catch up. Like Effie was saying, like after the laning stage on Silencer, he just sat in lane and like free farmed, even though the lane was quite difficult for him. And no matter what hero he's thrown on, it seems like he's able to do that. Even when he like played other roles, he was able to recover always. He's a very stable player.
So they give away Marcy, and their second ban goes out to the Bat Rider. We've seen it pop up a couple of times, but first phase ban is not that usual. What could that say about the rest of the draft?
It doesn't even have a good win rate. The last time I checked, it was
17% last time I checked.
It is not the best of heroes right now, so I honestly don't know where they're going with this. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. LGD do try to be a little bit more experimental with their drafts when they can, but I don't think game 2 of the upper bracket series is when you want to do this.
We see these the Frosty Heroes get more and more priority. The Lich first pick for Psg.Lgd. They paired up with the Tiny.
Now I can kind of understand the Bat ban to a large degree, just because like obviously like Nisha does play it. He has been playing it, but against the Frost Shield, Bat Rider just doesn't care. Lich does nothing to Bat, and Bat has one of the highest win rates in the game versus Tiny. I think he's like the second highest win rate next to TB because you do overwhelming magical damage. Tiny gets a BKB, sure, but you play long fights with Bat Rider.
And someone asked on the panel, did these teams watch the previous game, looking how this draft panned out? I would say yes.
Yeah.
So it also makes it so that this Tiny can be played mid comfortably without a Bat Rider to like thwart him on lane and later on. But also by having this Tiny in the game, you're not that scared of the SF plus Marcy matchup. We saw how Thunder Awaken were able to play these two heroes to success, right? They used Dark Magos Tiny to constantly toss back the Shadow Fiend, and it made his game really difficult. While they also had the Frost armor from Lich to negate any of the damage coming out of Marcy. I like the pivot that Secret does here and just takes the Leshrac back again instead of going for the SF that LGD left in the pool, because Lesh does not care about Frost armor and also lanes quite well versus Tiny, so why change it if it's not broken? Also still flexible to the off lane like we talked about last game.
Yeah, keeping their options open and also having another potentially ranged against melee matchup on the mid lane, which you know that Nisha is going to win.
Anytime I see a Marcy though in an Leshrac, it's like it feels so good to lane those two heroes together. It is so strong. But the same thing can also be said with the Marcy rotation, because not only is she arguably the strongest laning support in the game, she's also the strongest rotating support in the game. So she can also go mid. But if they do want to throw this in a side lane for Secret, there's very little that's going to be able to beat a Marcy plus Leshrac.
This Leshrac just makes LGD a little bit uncomfortable because based on how Nisha played last game, it made it so that they really didn't have any proper moves, and Leshrac is a hero that can lane well versus this mid Tiny, so they are considering the ability of LGD to flex it to just support and pick something like Alina, which Secret have already preemptively found out, right? I just think that it's incredibly important for Nothing to Say to have some kind of entry point into this early mid game, because if they're going to play that similar style that they did in last game and go for some active carry like a Bloodseeker or a Dawn, it's going to look really close to what we saw already.
Look at how they approach this Leshrac. Banning out the Lina means that most likely this Lesh is going to be on the mid lane. If you're looking for something that can outrange as well, Sniper is the other hero I'm looking at. But then again, there is Marcy. Marcy, one of the heroes that can ruin Sniper easily with just getting on top of him, tossing him back. Yeah. So could be a bit difficult, but maybe also an Invoker works as well to have you know, something that, because Leshrac does a lot of poke damage with his Lightning Storm. You can dodge the ganks. One good tornado can stop the ganks, set things up for your Tiny to come in. So could work out.
Is it strong enough to be banned here for Team Secret? We're gonna get a Ursa banned out first.
Very quick bans and picks coming through.
Ursa banned, Beastmaster banned, instant Zeus pick.
Yeah.
Why? How did they
Thunder Awaken played it this way.
They
Is
won.
this a rerun?
100% win rate on the main stage.
So actually, Zeus is a really good hero, in my opinion, from the mid lane to play versus Leshrac if they do decide to put it mid, and to also kind of avoid these Marcy ganks early on, just because he has the ability to disengage with Heavenly Jump, right? So just having a hero that can not get crushed on lane the way that we saw first game gives them so much already, but also just having the Thunder God's Wrath from Zeus with a Tiny on your team who's going to go Blink Dagger, it gives you the ability to scout enemies and just start the fight for yourself. So while LGD's draft has a lot of synergy together, it does look a little bit like Thunder Awakens, so I think that's why we're like, huh, interesting. They probably did watch the series to the end, but I think it works.
It's a lot of magical burst coming out from this Psg.Lgd's lineup, and I'm a little worried for Team Secret, like how they're gonna soak up all this magical damage.
Well, at this point,
Core Marcy.
It looks like a Core Marcy. So who is it that plays it on the side of Team Secret? Is it Rezo? Because I think I've seen Rezo play Marcy.
Yes, Rezo plays Core Marcy.
The thing is, I was looking at Secret and I was hoping that they would go for some hero that can be the early pipe in this game. The same way we saw EG pick that Tidehunter into Thunder Awaken Zeus and buy that pipe. You kind of need something like that if you're going to play against a draft like this. But you can also just have a hero that buys BKB early and goes on the Zeus, right? So Marcy can also do that for your team.
Very true. So we got the Monkey King picked up by Psg.Lgd, which also denies it. I'm assuming that for Team Secret, we are looking for a hero for Crystallis, and Monkey King is his most played hero ever, and most successful one with that as well. What heroes are still left in the pool for him? Bloodseeker and Razor obviously come to mind.
Morphling is too, but Morphling against Zeus means you can never morph low. He can just Thunder God's Wrath you. He did play Slardar.
He did.
In one game.
Okay, so I think that LGD have only played Monkey King once. Am I wrong? Do you have the stats? But when they did play it, it was their carry pick.
Yeah, I think they played it a couple times on Ame.
So it seems like they just secured their carry pick now before they go for some gotcha or it gets banned out. But
it was only once, you were right.
Okay, yeah. So also they just have the vision game secure with this Monkey King, right? It's a hero that can play the tree lines. You also have the Thunder God's Wrath from Zeus, and you have the Initiator in Tiny. So while the draft is synergetic together, I am a little bit concerned that Monkey King can die early on, especially if he's playing versus a Leshrac from the mid lane who's just going to rotate on him. But hopefully the Lich will be enough to secure this Monkey King's early game.
Yeah, late game, I think that matchup tends to go the other way, where, like, if Lesh wants to play into a Monkey ult, Monkey just shreds Lesh through Bloodstone, everything.
Yeah.
But early game, yeah, it's like, armor for what, right? You know, Leshrac does pure damage, magic damage.
Pretty much, but once you get that BKB or Diffuse of Later, Echo Saber, whatever it is that you want to do, you can fight into
fully
this
drain him.
Leshrac. You can also just eat this Disruptor, it's food, once you get a BKB as Monkey King, and then you can ignore the Nyx for the duration of it.
I think Psg.Lgd lacks a little bit of tower damage, because like Zeus, Lich, Tiny 4, they don't deal as much, so and they also need to pick it blindly. So something that Fabian does love to play, especially when paired up with this position for Tiny, is Death Prophet, where you know it deals damage. Picking it blindly, it's still a strong lane, and yeah. Look at the bans, Bloodseeker, Razor. These are Crystal's most played heroes, and they're going to get rid of that.
I really like the idea of Death Prophet because I feel like Death Prophet heals through the Disruptor, harass in lane. It's a hero that really likes heroes that play into you. Lesh likes to run into you, Marcy jumps on you, and you can just siphon these heroes and they die to the ghosts. That'd be a really solid pick. I can't believe Brood's made it through this far.
Yeah. First phase ban, both games in the previous series.
Yeah. So this is very likely Crystallis' hero, which a lot of his heroes are banned out right now.
So what is still in? You mentioned the Slardar earlier.
Lifestealer, which is not
banned.
so great. Oh, it's banned?
Banned
Okay.
as well.
There's still Shadow.
Viper?
Morphling as well, potentially.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few options left into the pool then.
Morph feels rough against Tiny Burst and Zeus, who can ult you when you're low HP. I mean, it actually would be a good Viper game, but last time they picked the Viper, it was when they had, I think it was like Sniper Mid or something like that. So it's more of a, I guess Lesh, it can carry the game to a large degree, so maybe you can still go for it. I think go for the Dons.
The Don.
It's a repeat of game 1.
Yeah, so this Dawnbreaker, while it doesn't necessarily have the best core-to-core matchup versus the Monkey King, it can just give them that like lane security, right? It's a strong laner. It can also help the Leshrac early on, like we saw last game, versus rotations, and it's a stable pick. It's also one of Crystal's comfort heroes, so maybe they didn't want to stray too far here.
Yeah, because he had a really good game. Like, he didn't die a single time on this Dawnbreaker, and again, combination with the Nyx Assassin to be able to follow it up, scout things out. Pretty much all of these heroes died. If you find them with the Nyx Assassin, they're very low HP heroes like Zeus, Monkey, Lich. Tiny not as much, but still, you do have enough stun, you do have enough burst damage to bring them down.
Yeah, but especially the Zeus, right? You can set up for these kills now on the Zeus with like a Carapace into one of his nukes while he's farming, and then you just have this Dawnbreaker follow-up stun. I do think the stuns exactly overlap each other, so there shouldn't be a space for the Zeus to get away from ganks like that early on.
And the Death Prophet, as called, comes out here for Faith Beyond.
Yeah, I mean, they needed some kind of tower damage to be able to put the pressure on the map. Even if you have kills, sometimes it's very difficult to close out the game. Like, if they didn't have tower damage from the off lane, they would really struggle killing tier 2 towers because it just gets very difficult. I think Psg.Lgd, they made the adjustments that was needed. And yeah, I'm going to put even more faith in them this time around.
So congratulations, Team Secret.
Yeah.
No, I do think their draft looks better. They have a means to fight back. I really would like them to win this one so we can get a game 3.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to jinx anything, but honestly it does look really good. The Death Prophet can sustain versus this Disruptor Harass. It gives them the tower damage that Lacoste was talking about. The only issue would be whether or not this Zeus gets taken advantage of early on, because Lich is a slower hero and slower to rotate to help. But if this Zeus can have a good game early on, there really isn't that much damage mitigation on the side of Team Secret, right? There's no Pipe Buyer, there's no Wraith Pack Buyer. You're playing with a offlane Marcy. She's not really the type that does that for you. So Secret's draft is greedier and less likely to punish LGD early on.
Jacobs, what's one thing people can look out for to see if Psg.Lgd is doing well and will force out this third game?
If they're doing well, I mean, I think if the game just goes late, like that's when Monkey King wins the matchup against Lesh, and like Effie mentioned, there's really nothing to deal with the Zeus.
Okay, we're gonna find out if this game will indeed be a long one, as Psg.Lgd's draft would like. We're heading over to Sunspan and Sinrin.
Thank you, and welcome to game number 2 between Secret and Psg.Lgd. Happy Slacks, how are you doing?
Am I happy, Slacks?
I can't tell.
I think you're angry, Slacks, and I'm LGD after the last game. So I think you know we're doing okay up here. Let's see if LGD are doing better in this game than the previous one, because that was an absolute beatdown, and they need to bring it back here to get us a third game. Just want to give a quick shout out to the fans in the arena that supplied us with these. We have some fans here with a seemingly endless supply of Sir Action Slacks masks. I'm sure you guys will be able to find them out there, but now it's time for the game. Yep. That was a good timing on that voice line of us actually taking off the mask, so that's very, that did feel good to take off, I'm not gonna lie.
It is close to Halloween, and I did feel terrifying for once in my life.
That is true.
Appreciate that. As we do make it into game number 2, like we said, and already a smoke here from LGD, but looking at their lineup, Cinderin, I might have to interrupt you if things start, but you can start your monologue to tell me what you think of both sides here.
I think compared to last game, I think LGD have more early game prowess. I think last game was a very, in a way, it was a little bit all in with how things needed to go, and the one lane that they were going to do well in kind of did, but not enough. I think this time around they have more skirmishing power with the Monkey King stun from the trees. They've got a tiny on Jinkyu this time compared to the Tusk last game that got shot down. For Secret, they're running some of the same stuff, right? The name of the game last game was Counter Initiation. This time around they have it again. They have their Nyx Dawnbreaker combo where you stun to set up the Dawnbreaker ult, you can Carapace to set it up. Rather different though from Puppy's side to have the Disruptor instead of the Maiden. A very aggressive support that capitalizes a lot on when you initiate.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way Secret's lineup a little bit less one-dimensional than last game, which can be both a good and a bad thing. But more than anything, I don't know how much to really talk about the drafts more so than, okay, you know, for LGD, you gotta feel like you get an entry into the game, right? Whatever lineup you have. If you fall behind again, it's not a good look.
Yep, as we're gonna see an Impale come out from Zayas just to poke Y a bit. But like you said, the CM very different with the Disruptor now because, I mean, we saw early game, Puppy was farming, and guess what? Disruptor cannot do that at all. He can farm heroes, though, if he's able to find pickoffs here, just forcing Y back to the tier 2 tower. Zayas TP's away now, which is preventing the supports from getting into the lane with their position 1. Faith Beyond playing the Death Trophy here.
Interesting choice from Secret here to opt for essentially a lane swap, right? They're playing Critzalis in the off lane together with Disruptor on Puppy, so they feel like this matchup, both their side lane matchups are not particularly good against Monkey King, right? Both Marcy and Dawn are these melee heroes, but they feel like they offer more in the top lane this way, and I think part of the logic is this way they combine all of their magic damage better, right? Disruptor plus Dawn have a lot of magic damage against the Frost Shield and against Monkey King's low HP pool, so maybe they can stand their ground and fight back, whereas something like a Nyx Marcy, I think, would have kind of been overwhelmed. Sure, they have some magic damage, but it doesn't amount to nearly the same as a good Celestial Hammer plus Thunderstrike combination will, so...
I mean, as a result of these lanes, Rezo is effectively playing position 1 Marcy, which, you know, he's had plenty of practice in years past playing position 1, position 2, and obviously position 3 normally now these days. But what are your thoughts on Marcy as a POS 1 right now?
I think the hero is incredibly strong as a core in general. You need BKB phase boots and you become a monster, so whichever lane you put Marcy in where she finds farm, you will get that impact later. I do think one upside for LGD against this hero in this game, though, is that I think they have somewhat decent disengage. They have some tossbacks, they have Frost Shield against the Marcy damage. Monkey King has his jump, obviously. They have arguably the advantage of vision as well, where they have Zeus ulti, they can have Monkey in the trees. There's a Nyx on the other side, so maybe kind of equalizes it, but I definitely think this is a game where Marcy with a BKB is very strong, but until she has it, I think she can be taken advantage of by almost all of LGD's lineup, actually. A lot of magic burst, a lot of control.
And what are your thoughts on this specific mid matchup, Lesh versus Zeus?
Should be Lesh favored. It's kind of like last game where you had Nisha playing against a Pangolier. This time you're against a ranged hero, but Zeus's forte is not beating ranged heroes out of lane. It's finding his farm and then finding impact later, and just kind of trying to break even. But I do think Lesh over time should be able to build a little bit of an advantage. Nice detail there from Nothing to Say in mid, by the way. Used the heavenly jump to attack speed slow Nisha so he didn't get the flag bearer creep. It's a double CS loss, essentially.
Rezo getting forced out of lane temporarily here. 8-6 start for him, so
not the best.
Not the best, but we'll see if that changes here. Jinkyu has been applying a lot of pressure. Obviously, Faith Beyond on the Death Prep, like we talked about. A hero that, I mean, not too long ago was changed, so Spirit Siphon is not percentage-based damage, so it won't scale as well, but as a result, it's, in a lot of times, stronger early game.
It is.
That fixed them out.
So powerful around the... I think, in many ways, DP is one of the strongest heroes in Dota when it hits level 7. If it has 4 in Spirit Siphon and has an okay matchup, you see these clips where DPs just win 1v3s because the enemy team doesn't have healing reduction or don't have good chain stuns or kite ability to get away. a hero like Marcy is relatively safe in that regard, that she does have the rebound to get away, but you still got to be a little bit wary when Xingqiu hits level 3, because you could get tossed too far away to rebound, and then you can get avalanched in that position. But
Rezo set up there from Zayas to start things out. Sidekick is there as well, but the Spirit Siphon from Faith Beyond is going to force Resolution back for the time being and connect back into the lane. But you can see the CS from all the lanes. This is very LGD favored. Mid lane is kind of a wash, but the other two very LGD favored, like I said. So how important is that for Secret, for LGD to get off to this good start in the laning stage?
I mean, it's huge, especially I think one of the biggest differences between this game and the last is just polar opposite game for Crystallis, right? Last game he got to play Dawnbreaker against Enigma, which is just you just coasting to a free lane.
Yeah.
This one, you have one of your worst matchups, which again, kind of interesting that Secret opt for this, right? I think not only did they put Dawnbreaker against Monkey King, didn't they also pick it into Monkey, or what was the pick order? I feel like it was there was something about that draft that was a little bit surprising with the order.
What would have been so bad about Marcy in this lane? Because she has a way to get away from...
She does have a way to get away as well, yeah. Oh.
Glimpse back, Starbreaker, but a lot of it's mitigated thanks to Frost Shield coming out from Y. And it's not gonna, I was gonna say it's not gonna lead to kill, but that is more damage than I thought. First Blood ends up going to Puppey. Yeah. So Secret, despite losing in the CS and the outer lanes, able to get First Blood. A nice double stun from Zayas, but the Avalanche is gonna keep him in place. Spirit Siphon, and the tree toss is there. Xingqiu gets credit for it.
Yeah, I think the mindset for Secret in this bottom lane should just be we can't kill and we shouldn't go for aggressive moves, because I think the punish is just too strong, right? Even Rezo with a running sidekick on both of them, Faith Beyond is going to overpower them with Spirit Siphon. They just don't have the tools to manage that until you have maybe level 6 on Marcy. Perhaps there's an opportunity to find a kill there. But yeah, the top lane, nice kill from Secret. I'm a little bit surprised that Ame didn't get more involved in trying to save his Lich, but I think he had creeps in the tower that he was prioritizing, and maybe the communication was Y saying, I'm fine, don't worry.
Speaking of Y,
yep.
Take some heavy damage here, but here comes the pounce from Ame. Crystallis, it's going to be another Jingu stack coming out for Ame. And Puppey basically out of mana right now.
Stuns.
Yeah, but the Starbreaker coming out. It does connect onto the Lich, but the Thunder God's Wrath finishes off 2 heroes. So nothing to say, despite being kind of a wash in the mid lane, now has 2 kills to his name.
Yeah, and that's going to put him at the advantage, not just breaking even now with Lesh, but will be pulling ahead on that net worth. So 500 gold advantage for him there. Had the Arcane Rune as well for that Thunder God, so it feels really good to use. It's a relatively long cooldown on level 1, but nice jump there. No Carapace.
Yeah,
from Zayas. Maybe wasn't expecting the jump to come that early from MTS, but yeah, I dare say already that the conditions LGD have in this game are going to make it a closer game than the last one. Like, this is already so much better when you consider how their lineup is going to fare in the next stages of this game. And I think the challenge here for Secret is going to be bringing Nisha into the game. I think he's the key to unlocking the game for them. He has a lot of magic damage against the Frost Shield. He's one of the heroes that can kill Monkey King right now, which, as we've established, their 2 side lane melee cores don't do the best job at. But the way you bring the Lesh into the game here is usually through the Nyx, but he's level 2. We're 7 minutes in. Zayas is having a totally different game than the first one. Really suffering down here. They're obviously going to use that to give Rezo the priority of finding a fast 6, and now he's going to leech some XP off of Nisha climbing that stack in the jungle, but it's a long ways away. I think Zayas has to take a lane away now from Nisha for a while to give himself a game. It is really important that you don't fall into that trap of supports, which I think kind of happened to LG in the last game, where you're like, you know, you can't just give your cores everything. Supports need to be unlocked to find purpose in the game. For now, Zayas is back bottom.
Rezo trying to farm these creeps up, but Avalanche is there. Toss back into the Exorcism from Faith Beyond, but the rebound global range as usual. And Marcy is A-okay, to say the least.
No Sinister Gaze there, I believe, from Y.
That is true.
I think he wanted to use it a little bit later. Didn't expect Marcy to be in range for the jump on the Nyx there. So I think it is one of those moments where you need to time it perfectly, because if you use it instantly, I don't think you have enough damage for Rezo anyway, so you needed to use it delayed.
Secret are trying to fight into this Exo. It's going to be running out relatively soon, so I'm trying to time that perfectly. Rezo's going to show himself, though. The fortification was already popped as Xingqiu. Oh. They do get the D word one way or the other, but it will be a deny. As you can see, nothing to say, taking a lot of damage. Actually, the Heavenly Jump on the other side, and he's just dead to Nisha. Big kill for Secret as now they try to pursue. That was a rebound into a toss, which helps the unleash a little bit here. Impale's going to connect onto one, but now Resolution has to be a little bit careful. Gets off the dispose, and there's the Sinister Gaze you were talking about from Y. They do find the kill on the support, but Resolution falls in the end, and her split art's just a millimeter off. And Nisha trying to find some more value here.
Millimeter, not inch. All right, ZQ's dead.
Well, it was a millimeter. Inch is bigger than a millimeter. I don't know if you know that, Cinderin.
No, you don't know what a millimeter is.
Trivia time for you as Chrysalis hammers to the low ground. Looks like he's fine.
Yeah. That was a sick toss from ZQ, by the way. During, I think it was mid-air. It was mid-rebound, so he didn't get stunned, and actually made a pretty big difference there that he finds that toss to salvage that situation somewhat. But yeah, huge play from Nisha there. The rotation, finding the Zeus solo kill, finding the regen rune and converting that into additional kill with bot has essentially equalized the game now and put himself in the driver's seat, which, you know, if you're a Secret fan, you might not find this net worth split too healthy. The Lesh way at the top of the board, but then you gotta look quite far down to find the next hero for the team you're cheering for. But if you do have one hero far away of the field in this game,
we have the Impale. Nice setup from Resolution as well. Chrysalis with a Solar Guardian. Faith Beyond is deleted.
Big kill.
Nice pick off, and they've obviously practiced this combo a lot.
Yep.
I mean, last game they didn't have the Marcy to help out on top of that initiation. It was just the Nyx, but it still proved to be quite potent. Now Nisha and company look to find Jin Q, but the Avalanche nicely placed from him. Spike Carapace a little bit too late.
Yeah, to quote a wise philosopher, it really does feel so good to play with multiple setup stuns as Dawn.
Thank you.
And yeah, I will never call you that again, trust. All right, Zayats.
He's going to be spotted.
Okay.
Sinister Gaze is there. Resolution gets a nice stun off with his rebound. Looks like Y is mega dead as Faith Beyond coming in from the low ground with that Exorcism. Jin Q following out behind with a Static Storm inside that kinetic field. They're going to try to focus down the DP, but she's healing so much. Now Resolution, he is getting low. The Urn Charge applied. One last little damage proc there from the Exorcism, and Faith Beyond gets credit for that.
Urn as well will now be turned into a vessel. So this time around, LGD with the healing reduction.
Nothing to say. He's going to do a nice job at dodging, but it doesn't matter. Chrysalis still has the damage. Boundless Strike connects onto two as Ame has come to play, but there is the glimpse, and that's going to reset things. So despite losing there, I mean, what do you want to even call Marcy? It is the position 3 technically.
Yeah.
They do get the position 2 Zeus.
I mean, at this point, both Marcy and Dawn are kind of position 3.5 when you look at the net worth. So.
I mean, we've seen a lot of games in the past where Secret kind of rely on Nisha to absolutely take over, and I want to say of all the people that is good at carrying on their back, he is probably #1 on my list if I had to make one. As Zayats.
Nice
horsey. Very good. Yep. But Ame is there.
That's a longer horsey.
Yeah, that's
Primal
a monkey.
Spring.
Monkey over horse, apparently. Zayats will proc down.
That was almost the name of your 2 cats.
That's right. Thank you, Cinder.
You're welcome. 1% of the audience got that. That's fine.
God, you're really great to work with.
What is it your cats are called? It's Monkey. Bucket. It's Bucket, right?
That's right. Bucket and Pookie. Thank you.
What name's their cat Bucket? All right, never mind. Don't talk about my dog's name, okay? We're good.
Onion.
Yeah, that's not what his name is.
It basically is. As Nisha makes his way to the top lane with Resolution's help, and then looking to get the trade a little bit late here, but I doubt LGD will try to defend, just using the fortification. Bloodstone, not too far away from Nisha, just the recipe away, I believe.
Yeah, the big difference between this game and the last one is they have the Vessel, right? So there is a path to killing Lesh for Faith Beyond here on the deep team. And they also have more burst in general. Last game they had more like sustained damage with the Lone Druid, etc. But this time you have the Zeus, you have Monkey King with some decent burst, DP with the high damage at this point in time.
Yeah, but this mid-tier 1, kind of a big deal. You got to be careful of that Thunderbolt if you're Zayats for that vision. Sentry there as well. They're going to spot him. They're going to try to burst him down. Thunder God's Wrath is there as well. Looks like Puppy's going to survive. His Solar Guardian coming in now. They're going to focus all their efforts onto this Lich, and the Zeus dies as well, so nothing to say. Takes a fall. This is going to be a third kill in this engagement, all for Secret, and even a buyback coming out.
They set that up so well. The Nyx does not get caught running into the Sentry, eats the DP silence, resets, and just goes back in. And again, I think in this game, nothing to say with the 3 deaths on Zeus. It's just getting caught a bit too much. Secret with a big trade there. Sure, you lose your mid tower, but you take one right back. You find 3 kills and a buyback out of the Lich. So that's huge, and LGD...
I will say, this time around, Secret's Roche lineup is far better in terms of just taking it.
Yeah, Marcy is very good at it.
Yeah, Marcy on top of... I mean, we saw the Diabolic... I mean, the same combo, I guess, from last time, but Either way, something they can actually not have to rely on LGD to do 3/4 of the damage before taking.
Yeah,
if they want.
You put the sidekick on Dawnbreaker with Deso, and then you use your ult, and those two heroes together can probably kill Roche in like 20 seconds, just the two of them. So definitely much
spotting
better.
some things out here. We have a glimpse. Faith Beyond is out of there. Haste Rune does spawn as Puppey's gonna take the brunt here. Boundless Strike, but he turns into a little pig. A couple more right clicks will do it. So support down for Secret. As LGD looking for more.
It's all 5 LGD heroes killing a 5 Disruptor, though. That does not feel that great. And this is one of the strengths that you have as Secret's lineup, is that you can play this Dawnbreaker in a side lane and push out the waves and feel somewhat safe, and obviously connect with your ult when it's available. On the other side, Marcy, also a kind of tricky hero for LGD's heroes to kill, so you need to rotate the right amount of numbers. They will do a big move here once again. This time as 4, though. Trying to not break the smoke onto the Nyx. This would be a huge pick if they found Nisha, but reading this like a book and not getting caught. Getting away with that ward.
He might be the one that suffers, but again, it's going to be a support potentially. He gets off the spike carapace though. Exorcism is popped. Does that mean they want to try to go for Roach? They're trying to take a fight. Faith Beyond finding Chrysalis, slowing him down to Spirit Siphon, but the kinetic field blocks him off. And that might be all PSG.Lgd get, and that's a big cooldown that they have to take into account now.
Oh, they might even lose their Tiny
into the
too.
Split Earth. Hammer's there as well. Down goes Tiny. Faith Beyond, he's here as well, but the Exorcism is running out. Resolution forced to fight despite the Spirit being applied to him.
Oh my God.
Big Lich ult onto 2, and PSG.Lgd, despite being down in numbers at the start, end up taking this fight in space. 3 for 1, and Nisha left along with Zayats here in the top lane.
Oh, they got insane value out of DP in that fight. So much damage, so much healing, and like you said, the Chain Frost doing tons of work as well. And it honestly, that looked like a really good counterplay from Secret jumping on the Tiny, but I think Resolution maybe bit over a little bit more than he could chew there. I think they have the kill without the rebound. He doesn't need to go in. And that did set
just
them up
placed
for
a
a
sentry
return.
there. He's going to get the toss off, and that means Secret probably will back out here. Another ward. The ward battles have come in.
Yep.
Looks like Secret to get a bit of that engagement. It's nothing to say now with the Arcane Rune. That's a big one.
So we're going to
another
see
replay here.
Yeah.
I thought this fight was
So this
very
is
good.
this is really good, this glimpse that comes out here. So they're going to glimpse back Jinq into a Lesh stun. And I think this is a kill without Marcy connecting here. And now Resso is out of position. Chain Frost starts bouncing. He carries that one. Wait, didn't it continue? Oh,
right here.
It was on the creep camp above. I was like, where did it go? And then it connected back down to Puppey and Crystals. All right, that's just flat out really unfortunate because it looked like they carried it away and it was gone. I think Secret were caught off guard by that Chain Frost returning to the fight and actually just giving LGD a little bit of a freebie there. Sometimes the creeps are not neutral. That was dire creeps.
Indeed. Well, 1K lead for PSG.Lgd as Faith Beyond working on a BKB. And we've already seen the Spirit Vessel being applied. Very strong item. Zayats continuing on with the Vendetta. He is going to be seen. Why? He's going to take the Vendetta damage to start, but like you said, the silence coming out. Hammer. Chrysalis wants to finish the job, and he will. They find the support.
Making progress toward that Deso. He did go for the shard first. I think that's a good choice in this game as Dawn. You're up against too many problems that prevent you from using Starbreaker, so... And it feels bad to rush BKB. So getting this as a kind of a gapping item for your damage item is solid here. Still have to be very careful when you're out of Starbreaker though. I think this is, once again, a lineup that LGD are running that are very, very good at punishing melee heroes. So... And we've seen that in the previous fight, right? If you're just a little bit out of position on the Dawn or on the Marcy, the punishment is pretty severe. So maybe Secret are going to try to slow this down until they have Resso's BKB. I think that would give them a lot of more options to play around with, because I think he's not going to die during that, realistically speaking, unless he's standing in like a Monkey King ult and just tanking that up. Nobody else is doing anything to him in BKB. I don't think the Exorcism Ghosts are really a concern when you have Sidekick plus your ult running. True. You're easily going to out-heal that.
Still about 1,000 away from finishing that, so a couple minutes at least. I mean, from LGD's side, they have a lineup that can take Roche pretty fast with the Exo, but it requires pretty big cooldown, and you will likely want to pick off beforehand.
They're going to look for the set pick off. Wonder if they will try to get this as a level 12 gap for Faith Beyond to then go Roche. Tiny close to dagger, by the way. ZQ went phase boots and has just been quietly farming in the top lane for the last 4 or 5 waves.
Psg.Lgd, Avalanche clips Resolution, tossed back into the Sinister Gaze, but Nisha's coming with the Solar Guardian help as well. Resolution ticking out very slowly. Looks like he will. Oh no, actually gets off the stun just in time with his Unleash, dispels the Urn Charge, and Jin Q looks like he's going to fall as the Crystalist double kill comes out, but finally Resolution does fall. So a little bit of a backwards engagement, but I think Secret will be okay with this. 2 for 1.
I wonder if we get that in a replay. I wonder if ZQ actually needed to go for that. Because what he did, he gave Resso something to hit with his lifesteal. Obviously, Unleash would not have been able to remove that Vessel charge. Doesn't do that anymore unless you have, I believe it's the Shard, right? Where you get the Dispel.
Oh, the hell
or sorry, not the Shard, the Scepter. So, yeah. That got a lot better for Secret than it looked like it would. And again, that counter initiation potential with the Dawn really coming into play there to find a return. So we're going to see the replay here. So look, this is a really good initiation from ZQ into the Silence. Just good execution overall. I think he ticks down to this Vessel, but now ZQ is going to walk in and give him lifesteal. And he will outlast this for so long. And the thing about this is, sure, ZQ just kill him in the end, right? But this means Tiny is not participating in the side fight, where that Avalanche could have made a huge difference. Resso all smiles.
No, I'm not sure, but the toss, I think it was bringing him closer, but the Sinister Gaze actually stopped him.
Yeah, it stopped him midair. Yeah.
We're going to see a fight here. Faith Beyond doing a lot of damage, healing with the Spirit Siphon. Here comes the Wukong's command from Ame, trying to focus down Nisha. It's up the Bloodstone, but will that be enough? Spirit Siphon's still there. That's 2 for nothing. Psg.Lgd winning this fight, and now another Avalanche. GQ looking for a target to toss. Crystalist can't get to the low ground, though. Has to walk away the old-fashioned way. Gets off the Starbreaker. Really connects onto Ame. Silence to follow. But it looks like this is going to be the death of the position one for Secret as Psg.Lgd win a big fight here in the mid-game.
Huge for them. Monkey King unlocked. He gets involved with that BKB and finds the kill on the big game on the other side. The Lash has the Bloodstone and Yules, but no BKB, and does just end up getting kind of, I wouldn't even say he got chain stun, but just like a little bit here and there. It just builds up enough time for Ame to finish the job in the end with a Frost Shield slow. Does really benefit Monkey King quite a lot for these chasing sequences. And now all of a sudden, I mean, Secret just had a pretty good engaged top where they get that trade. Now 5k behind. Just look at that Wukong's command, beautifully placed. Nisha in a really awkward position in the center of it. Almost escaped, but not quite. And I feel like when the Leshrac dies, Secret's teamfight just is over, right? Like, it just falls so incredibly flat, not just because of the way their lineup is structured, but because of how much of the net worth they're sitting on is on this hero. He just really has to be protected at all costs and get his stuff out. And that time, Nisha does get picked off and just snowballs the fight in LGD's favor, no problem.
Secret smoking up to the enemy jungle. Faith Beyond. They see him
far out.
Yep. Moved himself to the other side. Might have missed out on the vision there. No, they saw him. Resolution with a nice rebound. Here comes the Solar Guardian as well, but the Avalanche mitigating a lot of this right now. As Crystal is focusing down Jin Q for the time being, as Faith Beyond looks to be dead. Just one more right click to go. So nice pick off for Secret. Ame, next to his tier 2 tower, has to pop the BKB. Wukong's command to follow. Now there's no physical damage go through this with that BKB activated, but they can try to continue on here once the BKB ends up running out. Wise can take the brunt of the damage now from the Starbreaker. So Secret getting everything they want. Ame, the only one left in this area, looks like he does get away safely. That would have been just a disaster for Psg.Lgd, but still, Secret going to be extremely happy with what happened here.
That looked like a really ambitious dive, but it works out very well. I don't think LGD were remotely ready for this to happen. Like the way their DP gets jumped. I think the just snap reaction there from Jinkyu on the Tiny was really impressive. He finds the blink into a good avalanche, but did not buy enough space. No BKB yet on the DP. Couldn't get away from a lot of the damage and then gets run down by Resso. And they found, I believe they cut the trees of Ame as well. I think he took the long stun there. I believe we're going to see that potentially in the replay. So this is not a common attack angle here that Secret are going for with their lineup, right? So Jinkyu, notice that really quick blink avalanche, really good job there. But Faith Beyond, that's that Resso BKB coming into play, how much that can do. Does finish off that kill. And on the left side, yeah, Ame gets cut out of the trees there. Stunned for a really long time. Fortunately for him, has BKB ult, or he would have died too. And this could have been tragic for LGD. Now it's just, now it's only bad. Most of their lead evaporating there.
Yeah, pretty damn even game now as a result of that fight. Have yet to see the first Roche, by the way. I think that's probably going to be the next thing on the menu for both sides if they can get to that. And Faith Beyond, he is about to pick up his BKB. That is going to be pretty massive.
That's huge, and it's worth noting as well what Ame went for. I don't think we've highlighted the Mage Slayer, but obviously an amazing item against Lash, right? I think it's part of the reason that Ame doesn't die in that situation when he gets cut out of the trees. Having that magic resistance really helps, and obviously when you do hit the Lash, getting that magic damage reduction as well. But that said, Nisha popping, or rather revealing a BKB in the coming fight could become massive for Secret here.
LGD in the pit. Exorcism already popped. Zayat is going to spot it. The spike carapace comes out, double impale. Tiny's just dead right off the bat. And now the focus is on Ame. He goes down to the pulse though, but no buyback for the Monkey King as Y. He's going to get chased now by Nisha in a huge fight for Secret. We'll see if they can go into the pit and get this Roche, but the toss back from Jin Q. Avalanche is there as well. Resolution gets deleted, so maybe not with the numbers. Buyback now onto the Lich. Puppey attempting to TP out. He'll be fine.
Pretty damn impressive that LGD managed to salvage that. Like, consider how that fight began. They sent in the 4 Nyx, they immediately killed the enemy carry, as well as the Lich, and it still turns out somewhat even in the end. It is big, though, that the Exorcism was expended and the BKB for Faith Beyond. Of course, that's a really crucial moment there that LGD could have converted into something big, but I guess at the very least for them with how that started, things could have gone way worse. So look inside. I mean, also kind of a blunder. Where's the Sentry?
That's true.
You're playing against Nyx and you're taking Roche. This is, I would say for LGD, maybe a little bit disappointing considering the level this team usually plays at. Just a little bit cocky, really going for that without putting a Sentry Ward down in that area to protect them from this potential move. And I think it got placed now, so they do have it for the next Roche fight. It is ready against Zayas, but that definitely did catch them off guard there. Like, imagine that exact situation with the Sentry. I actually think they just get the Roche.
Yeah, we got another toss back. This time it's onto Puppey. It's going to be canceled a bit here. That's thanks to the Starbreaker, so it's a 1-for-1 on the supports. I mean, Exo's still down for a minute. Not sure if Secret will have time to try to take advantage, as we're going to see a blink now onto Nisha.
That's a dieback on GQ, by the way.
That's true, a full minute.
And Secret are getting insane value out of Zayas on the Nyx, just like in the first game. I think it's really, the Carapace is causing issues. You see the Tiny there wanting to go in, and just gets countered very quickly. Zayas in the right place at the right time a lot in these games.
And Resolution, I believe the Basher is on the way, so
that's huge.
He will do a lot of damage.
It gives him the possibility of preventing Monkey King from playing the game, right?
Oh, wow.
If you do get the right setup without Wukong's command down, Marcy can beat Monkey by straight up. This is huge for Secret though. Don't think, I mean, do LGD even try
Exo
this?
is up in 5.
It's too late.
Yeah, looks like it's too late.
Awesome play call here from Secret to go for this. They know Tiny has no buyback.
Oh, they're going to try to jump Faith Beyond. Frost Shield's going to keep him healthy for a little longer. Pops the BKB. Do they have the physical damage to go through? But Monkey King with the balance strike. Ame comes to play. Bash applied to Resolution now, but the rebound onto the other side of the river. He'll be fine, but Nisha looks like he wants to try to fight. Gets off the Yule. Faith Beyond now on the outskirts of this fight. That is a dead Lash, but that is just the Aegis. Exorcism still going. Zayats gets the Impale onto one, but now they're trying to turn this around onto the Monkey King. There's the Starbreaker from Chrysalis, and that is the death of Ame. 50 seconds on the deck. And Psg.Lgd, they get the Aegis technically out of the hands of Secret, but it does cost them.
Yeah, it's almost a repeat of the previous moment, right? Where a bad start gets turned into something salvageable for LGD. Like, it's not great by any means to lose the Roche there, but as you said, they do get rid of the Aegis. I mean, not a spell we hype up a lot in general, but Frost Shield just coming up huge in this fight for keeping Faith Beyond alive here, as he does get jumped there. So you see the instant Frost Shield here makes the difference. If he dies there, this is just all over. Gets the BKB off, gets the Siphons running. Awesome 3-man stun coming in from Ame from the tree line there with that Boundless. And Resso, fortunate enough to have a good spell to get out
Every
with.
time I saw, we're going to see the Avatars come out onto Puppey. Is it going to be punished though? Crystals comes in with the hammer. Starbreaker's there as well, and Jin-Q dies. 45 seconds of no Tony. And Y going to be spotted out. The glimpse back. And it looks like Y will be next. So 2 supports down in favor of Secret.
Basher on both sides. You pointed out the Marcy one. Now we have one on the Monkey King as well. So really crucial item for potentially locking down the Lesh or the Marcy to keep them in that arena. As we've seen, Resso just resets a lot of the time, just jumps away on the Nyx most of the time. And maybe with this Basher, Ame can keep them a little bit more in place. Eyeing up a Scotty next for more healing reduction against the Lash. And, you know, that reliable slow to once again stick.
Nothing to say, Impale is there, the stun from Resolution with the Basher as well. Nothing to say, has to use BKB. Let the glimpse back, they're gonna find the support. No, Faith Beyond pops the BKB as well. But this is both in defensive measures as Resolution finds the distance because he's playing Marcy. And down goes, nothing to say. 3K lead now for Secret. And Nisha working on the Shivas next. Is going to get outpost control in the PSG.Lgd jungle. Ame looking for the support, but Zayats is there to try to counteract this. Solar Guardian coming in as well. Ame pops the BKB along with Chrysalis, but Starbreaker deletes Y from the face of the map, and now they're inside Wukong's command.
No bash.
Have to get the hell out of there as Resolution looks like he's going to live, uses the rebound to get a little bit extra distance. Zayats and company now focusing down Faith Beyond on the Death Prophet. Another valuable kill and another valuable fight for Secret.
Yeah, they're going to turn this into mid-tier 2 as well, so yeah, huge that they managed to find the fight with Zeus dead, right? It's just, it's a lot easier for Secret to take this fight when they just get the initiation and don't have to worry too much about that counterplay, so this looks pretty good, but
it does.
They just have so quick reactions on the Dawn and the Nyx. Again, this pairing that Secret have been running in Game 1 and Game 2 now is really paying off, and crucial for Resto that he doesn't get bashed. Any bash in that Monkey King arena, he's dead, so a little bit of luck on his side as well there to get out. And all of a sudden, man, this game has swung around in a big way. I feel like it's 5 minutes ago that LGD were ahead by 5K, and now they're down by 8. Goes fast sometimes in Dota when you win these big fights, and Secret, probably with this advantage that they have right now, if they can keep their cool and keep building up their Lesh, the next Rosh you would imagine could go their way, and that one could open up for high ground. Like you pointed out in the last game, LGD is a team that plays really, really well from behind, one of the best in the world at that. And they will try just that immediately now. No DP ults. They're actually going for a 5-man offensive smoke with Faith Beyond best ability. I mean, it's debatable. Maybe Spirit Siphon is his best ability, but, you know. True. Puppy. If they want him, he's dead. They do.
Okay, Avatar. Zayats wants to come in, though. They've lost Puppy already. Does have the buyback available. His Thunder God's Wrath is there. Looks like Zayats is going to barely limp away, but no, nothing to say there to finish him off. Now, Resolution, he's taking so much damage. The rebound onto the other side of the map again. Rezo is fine. 70 seconds of no Nyx. Must have been a dieback technically.
Puppy.
Static Storm. Okay. Enough to take out Jin Q. Very cocky play from Puppy, but it kind of works out. But again, if they get the kill, this will technically be a dieback for him. Boundless Strike, and it looks like it will be just that. But there's no Rosh to get.
There's that Glimpse buff. That's not a kill without the damage.
That is a good point.
He killed Tiny with Glimpse there, so yeah, it's not great to get a dieback just to kill off Jin Q. I mean, his net worth in this game is not particularly impressive on that. Tiny has had a lot of deaths in these fights, 2 and 8 currently on him. And it gives more than anything for LGD. They made a smoke without EXO. They finally win a fight, and they get a little bit of breathing room, which I think is crucial. You're closing in on some pretty big moments. Monkey King is not too far from level 20. Faith Beyond is close to level 18 as well. Nothing to say, also not that far from 20. And you look over at the Secret heroes, Nisha obviously with level 22, well ahead in that on that front, having that strong talent on 20. And Rezo actually breaks his 18 now as well, so important to look out for these key levels coming both sides' way. I believe Nisha is level 17. What the hell? Remember his start?
Yes, that's level 2 at like 7.5 minutes.
That's a good recovery. Oh, gets the Carapace!
Very good initiation, but Jin Q is there with the Avalanche. Will it be enough? No. Nothing to say. Goes down to another member of Secret. That Starbreaker has been deleting heroes, and of course you've said it time and time again. Zayats has been setting up every single initiation, and the fact that they can do it across the map with a hero like Dawnbreaker is insane.
It's just a great read that he thinks Zeus is going to go there and use Heart Lightning, right? So he can get that Carapace stun off, and then they use that immediately to chain. Just very, very nicely played by Secret. Pretty much a perfect layering of the stuns, too. Just a little bit of a mistake there. Maybe you get BKB off and jump away on the Zeus, but none of that out of the way of Secret, so yeah, they've really had his number this game. I mean, it's not like it's an awful scoreline to be 9-5 and 8 on Zeus, but it just feels like the Carapace has been his big bane this game. Yeah, so many times getting caught off by this Nyx that he did choose to pick it into, which is worth pointing out. Like, they picked Zeus knowing that Nyx was in the game, and it is a double-edged matchup, right? Zeus also has the obviously the true sight coming out from Lightning Bolt can be handy, and the ult to find the Nyx, but he makes the first move.
And that hasn't really come into play. I think I've
Not
seen
really.
one time that it's actually come into play in this game.
Zayas has been playing an outstanding series.
Absolutely. This is one of the greatest Nyx performances I've seen in a long time. This hero was kind of just not in play from, I want to say, like previous TIs. It feels like it's just fallen off the map, but this year has kind of come back with a vengeance.
Yep.
As Nisha now has his Shivas, and his net worth separation between 1 and 2 is absurd. 7K, my goodness.
Yep.
He's not afraid to go to the high ground as the rest of Secret are going to smoke up.
LGD would love to not fight for the next 300 gold on Ame. Just get that Scotty. It's a really big game changer for them to get that unlocking. It's going to help them so much against the Lesh as long as he gets to play the fight on the MK. Look how much they're covering him. It's like...
Resolution with the double damage, by the way. Nothing to say is dead. And there's still not just several heroes, now 2 dead for LGD to just start out the fight. Another Starbreaker, but now Chrysalis and company outside the Wukong's command. The glimpse back onto Faith Beyond, and he is dead. Triple kill for Resolution. There are all buybacks available for LGD, so Secret have to be a bit careful with this. And why? He's going to die inside his own base. He is the one lone member of LGD without the buyback at the moment. So 12K lead for Secret. Roche is available, and we'll see if they try to go for that before trying to push high ground.
Correct me if I'm wrong, did they set up that fight with a Reso jump? Was he just
think
jumped on the Zeus, right?
His rebound, oh, I don't know about the initial one.
I think he blinked with ult on and just instantly bashed the Zeus and basically killed him 100 to 0 with a DD. I think that's what happened, right? I was like, okay, he just disappeared on the Zeus. He has no armor. Actually, he has negative armor because he has the Nether Shawl.
That's true.
We're going to see the replay. Oh, okay, this is the tail end of it. I believe it was Reso setting it up himself that time, but either way, just it's extremely explosive, the Secret lineup, when they get the jump. You have to be so quick as LGD to counteract it with Glimmer Cape, with Frost Shield, or the hero just disappears. Yeah. One of Marcy's biggest strengths in Pro Dota is that the damage comes out so quickly that it's almost inhuman to react to it in key moments. Right there, the Zeus just didn't get to play. Nothing to say. Part of me feels like you should buy Aeon Disc here. I think going Octarine is maybe, like, it's a glass half full kind of, or glass half empty kind of approach. Like, how are you thinking about this? Is it, okay, I'm not going to get caught and I will have maximum impact, or is it, all right, I kind of have to cover my bases? It doesn't feel good to buy BKB and Disc, but I mean, look at how the fights are going, right?
I think technically, if you think you're going to survive, that's considered glass half full.
Yeah, but that's not really what's happening. So I think that's what I'm saying. The Octarine is a glass half full approach, but that's not what's been happening, right? So I think you have to...
why? Out.
No, he's totally...
They're going to see him unleash, and a couple of right clicks from Resolution.
Okay.
Will do the job. He has a Chrysalis right now, not his teammate. And he's actually pretty well into the data list, so I think just a recipe away essentially from finishing that. Obviously, buyback is going to be kind of paramount for every Secret, or every hero in this game at this stage. 17K lead now for Secret. Aegis advantage, we didn't talk about the shard, but it was taken by Nisha, which, one of those weird shards, obviously very powerful, the splitters being, I mean, a lot of time we think about like high ground defense, but when you're going high ground yourself, it's actually not too shabby as well. Avalanche here, Wukong's command expended. Is it just for Puppy, though? Looks like it is for now, as Nisha. He's perfectly fine to try to fight this out on the other side of the Wukong's command. Here comes a Solar Guardian as well. Faith Beyond is dead. But the toss back onto Nisha, but now the Wukong's command is down. The BKB finally activate for Ame. He gets a big balanced strike. A lot of damage coming out from Nothing to Say. So they get the 2 supports in the end, but now Nothing to Say, he's the one getting pursued by Nisha. Split Earth connects. Pulse Nova continuing to go in again. The Aegis still intact for Secret. Frost Shield not going to mitigate any of that magic damage, and the Starbreaker is enough. Another death for Nothing to Say, and 2 cores dead for LGD with no buybacks.
Yeah, he actually finally got to play a fight on the Zeus, so we got to see something come out of him in the way of damage there. But again, Secret just pouncing so strongly in these fights now. And that one felt like a net worth lead win, right? If they don't have a big advantage here, this fight is going to go LGD's way. But Secret have built themselves such a fundamental lead now that they can even make a couple of mistakes here or there if necessary, but they're not really doing that. It still feels very, very clean. I love the confidence from Nisha too. I mean, sure, he has Aegis. I think he would have done that anyway, honestly. He's like, oh, Wukong's command is down and I'm not in it. I'm invincible. I can do whatever I want. And he just runs outside it and starts chasing heroes down. Now looking for the first lane of barracks here. Overwhelming Blink obviously will make it very easy for him to, first of all, be tanky and also set up his own stun.
And Nisha, he is level 25.
Toss back.
Toss back. That's something you have to be a little bit careful, but if he pops a BKB, and Jin Q is punished really hard. Splitter's gonna not connect thanks to BKB from Faith Beyond. That's the buyback now to Jin Q. That be careful because Nothing to Say is now available to fight. They're gonna try to turn this around as Resolution jumps in with his BKB, focusing down Ame, but the Wukong's command can get him so much harder. Resolution gets destroyed. 80 seconds of no mercy. Another falls for Secret as Psg.Lgd showing some life here. They find 3 kills with no reciprocation.
Toss MVP.
What is their Abrasive doing down there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe someone's gonna.
All right, Jin Q deletes it. Very nice.
Would have been funny if they gave someone buyback, but not the case. Yeah, Toss is everything there. They can't get Nisha into a bad position in any other way. And you saw he was expecting the play too. He was like, I'm gonna get tossed here. I'm gonna BKB. I'm gonna kill Tiny, which is what they did. But it set up enough time for LGD to connect, and maybe his teammates a little bit too eager to help here. I think he's actually fine.
Yeah, he's definitely.
And he can reset out of this. That with Rezo getting that kill on the Tiny, Secret can full disengage here, but they kind of do get baited in again. I think this jump from Rezo is really putting him in an awkward spot where Monkey King can finally isolate him. And there's a bash, and that's the kill.
Yeah, and using the rebound offensively means you have no escape mechanism.
Exactly. I think Secret could have actually got a pretty big win there by just
disengaging once the exit was popped.
Yeah, trading their Aegis away for the Tiny buyback and then getting out.
So LGD winning a very important fight, and the Aegis was never used, so it's going to expire on its own accord here in 20 seconds. Question is, what is the next item for Nisha? He has the Overwhelming Blink.
Wind Waker queued up.
Okay.
I guess it's really nice to save his teammates out of Wukongs, right? He can get Rezo out of trouble. He's probably the primary hero that will be in jeopardized positions. Hex is also something he is looking at.
I mean, the problem with using on a teammate, you can't move it, right? It only moves on yourself. So you can't really get out of Wukong. So it's just literally
it's just buying time is just
an extra couple seconds.
Yeah, it makes a pretty big difference, but.
Nisha still with a ridiculous net worth lead right now. But at what point, is there a point that Lesh falls off at all? I mean, the Diabolic Edict explosion, we didn't really talk about the 25 town. That is something you just can't let him get close to buildings.
I mean, I guess something Nisha doesn't have is a refresher. If you want to look at it from that perspective, like how do you solve the hero? If he doesn't have Aegis and doesn't have refresher, he is susceptible when BKB runs out. Zeus has a lot of damage. You have no magic resistance. I guess that's kind of untrue. You have Cloak of Flame, so a little bit, but it's not that much. And if you get caught by a Scotty Trail from Monkey...
of refresher, Ame does have one.
Has it, yep.
And they are smoked up.
Even after the nerfs, you can easily afford this. If you go Scotty, it's something, especially we've seen Faceless Voids in the past go for as a build-up to refresher.
Nisha, he's going to be the one that gets popped here, but pops the BKB very early. Gets off the Splitter, trying to play around it, but the Jingo's about to proc here as well. The Wukong's command is there, and Nisha has to use the ult on himself. But he's likely just going to be left alone, and he's going to be brought down. A huge kill for LGD. There are buybacks for both remaining members here from Secret.
You really have to be on your toes against this team. Like, you have a big lead, sure, but this is the one thing that can't happen for Secret is that they find Lesh without support. Like, if anyone else is in that line of fire, it's not that bad. Like, you could have lost a Nyx there, you could have lost a Marcy, you could have lost a Disruptor, but Nisha cannot get out once he gets slowed down by that Scotty. He has no... I think that's probably why he is considering this Wind Waker, is he needs it for himself. He has to have some sort of way of repositioning and buying time and getting out.
That's fair.
And with the BKB expended, you see it afterwards. He's just getting chain locked until he dies. Protection just wasn't there. That's a big dent in Secret's lead. That was about 6k net worth from 2 kills in a tower. So it is still well within reach for LGD to solve this.
I mean, 11k at this stage is really not that. I mean, it's literally on Nisha. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty much his net worth lead. So yeah, that's true.
One thing I do want to mention, we're a bit far. It's 2k away, but Puppey, Aghanim Scepter, halfway there. That is something that can just win the game, essentially.
Yeah, he has some good setup, right? He has the Nyx. Oh, speaking of.
Yeah, Solar Guardians there. Looks like Jin Q will die. 90 seconds of no Tiny here.
Never safe pushing a side lane against these two.
And a quick TP's out. Ame not going to pursue any further.
They're immediately going again. It's like, oh, we get the kill, they TP back, now they smoke and look for another move. So, quick plays here from Team Secret. Lesh obviously will be able to connect here with Travels if they find a move on the side lane here bot, but nobody is showing. From LGD wisely staying tight-knit here. It is historically and just generally the way to handle Nyx is to not split up too much, especially if he has a global presence, right? A classic combination is Nyx Invoker. You get the stun combo into Sunstrike, and that's kills. If you play tight like this with Sentry Wards, it's a lot harder for Zayas to find the impact.
Very synced up on those Shivas there. Faith Beyond versus Nisha, but the BKB prevents the glimpse from being used.
Rezo's thinking. Oh,
he's going in. He gets the bash to start things out, and Faith Beyond is evaporated here. And now they're going to get the Lich on top of it. Has to buy back. And we can see that Roche is available. I'm not sure if they're aware. This is the one with the Aghanim Scepter, which gives you that 6k net worth injection, essentially.
Dude, that's so dirty. Like, think of how tanky the Death Prophet is. 4k health with a Shiva.
You have to get in on this.
Rezo literally just blinked in and killed him in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Daedalus, Unleash.
And I think when the Tiny is dead, that is their combo breaker, right? That's the thing that's been kind of like the Avalanche or the Tossback that get the fear. When he's dead, I don't think there's anything they need to fear when going in. And that's going to be another Roche for Secret. And this is going to be Nihilism, I would assume, onto Nisha. We'll see who ends up taking the Aghanim Scepter.
Holding it on Nyx.
Okay.
He's not used it, though.
Puppy's 800 from finishing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
not consumed it. I mean,
I guess they're debating what to do, right?
Yeah, it's actually a tough decision. Nyx's Ag is incredibly good. The question is, how much value are you going to get on Nihilism? I mean, it's really good as well.
Yeah, it's not the best Nihilism game, though, right? It's good against Monkey King, but I don't know. Maybe they're just never going to use it. I wonder what the win rate is of Aghanim's Blessing unconsumed. It's got to be pretty high.
Great stat, yeah, I'm sure. Get somebody working on that one. Very
he's literally, it is inflating his net worth right now. So he's literally just walking around with higher net worth.
No,
game.
It doesn't inflate until you consume it. Okay, he just consumed it.
It did. His net worth was the same.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe
He was carrying around 6k gold. All right, he finally uses it.
All right, so now you get a buff to every skill and burrow. You become a lurker. Hopefully that's not trademark or I might get fired here. So Secret, Psg.Lgd, 25k lead for Secret, but it doesn't, sometimes it hasn't really felt like that based on LGD just making brilliant moves. That last one really hurt.
It did, and they hit a huge breaking point here. They get 25 on Dawnbreaker. This is such an it is one of the best talents in the whole game, in my opinion. Just so strong to get a second free Starbreaker. You have the BKB death, so you're guaranteed to get 2 of them off. You're playing against one Monkey King Basher. It's the only counter that the enemy team has to your Starbreakers going off, so Chrysalis will do massive damage, and as we've seen time and time again in this game, plenty of setup where that comes from his teammates. Both Rezo and Zayas will be happy to just jump in and give him 2 Starbreakers to get a key kill.
And not only that, I mean, the other side we have Heart on Faith Beyond, very big item, but the Aghanim Scepter was officially purchased now by Puppy, so
you know what
muting of items.
They don't have a Force Staff.
And on PSG?
Yeah, that feels like an oversight to not have that item, right? I know you're playing against Glimpse, but you need some sort of way of getting out of Starbreaker, of getting out of...
They're going to jump in, Solar Guardian coming in at the end. It looks like Faith Beyond might drop inside the Wukong's command. They have to just try to reset. Zayas is going to live thanks to the Eon Disc and just burrow his way back to full HP. The Jin Q is dead as well without buyback available. Now they just wait out the Wukongs.
Oh, he got the stun
again. He's going to go in again with Chrysalis' Starbreaker, decimating time and time again. But there's Ame's Refresher, Wukong's command to follow. Chrysalis eats the cheese, tries to get Force Staff, but not going to live through this engagement. They did find Niche, okay. Gets off the Yule, but instantly canceled.
Dude,
that was the neutral item.
It's actually doing work.
But they got the tower, but nothing more.
Well, they got his buyback too.
All right, he has Wind Waker, like you said. That was the Stormcraft, so he has 2 ways to dispel.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a nullifier or something, just canceling it out, but just the baby Yules. And Secret continuing to pursue. Fortification is popped, and Splitters aplenty being applied. And now they know that there's no Wukong's command. Refresher already used on Ame. Did he also pop BKB? No. So he has his second BKB now.
This is just not a safe push whatsoever with DP and especially Tiny respawning. I really like from Secret that they disengage here and don't try to get those barracks. I think the risk reward just isn't favoring you nearly enough. Go back, play the map, get your spells ready, get your heroes back in play, and
try to find another pick outside the base and use that to get the racks instead. So, yeah. I mean, LGD, they do hold on, but it feels like it's expensive every single time. This time, getting that Zeus buyback out, he doesn't have disc, and he's still not considering it. He's eyeing up the Hex. Okay, finally, he changed his mind. So will take the defensive route here to ensure that he can at least stay alive for a moment. Faith Beyond!
Uh-oh. Inside the Static Storm. Remember, he can't use any items inside of it, and he's dead. 90 seconds of no death profit. Ame trying to get some revenge, but Resolution ends up using Rebound to the other side. Only one inside Wukong's command right now, but 3 dead for Psg.Lgd. And now Ame looks to be next. The Starbreaker is coming just for him. Specialty from Secret. He has to buy back instantly. Now Resolution with the dispose, onto nothing to say, has to pop the BKB himself, but this looks like it might be the beginning of the end for LGD in this upper bracket. Rebound not proc there, but again, Chrysalis with the Starbreaker. And this is going to be several sets of racks, if not potentially GG.
Faith Beyond just disappears. It's like LGD want to access this high ground. They're like, what hero can we send in first that can possibly survive? And he should be the choice, right? You have Heart, Shiva, BKB. He dies before he gets BKB off. He literally just gets killed 100-0. Even with Lynch's protection, it wasn't enough.
Oh, Zyax finds Ame. This is going to be a